Rush Duel is a fast-paced spin-off game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you can summon as many monsters as you want and draw up to 5 cards each turn. In this series, me and the TheDrAlex progress through each Rush Duel product release and build decks with whatever cards were available at that time. We have been drafting characters from the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's anime and have exclusive access to those characters' boss monsters, and will continue to draft characters from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush series. Join us as we continue to battle it out in this series, Rush Duel Character Draft. Neo Legend Awakening Pack was released October 12th, 2024, and includes new support for Yuo's fusion archetype, Metarians, as well as 2 new archetypes in Legend, which can treat specific cards as legends while gaining bonus effects, and Ancient Gears, a series of classic GX machine cards. Since I already have most of the machine archetypes, I will be taking the Ancient Gear cards, including Ancient Gear Tyranno, Ancient Gear Powered Soldier, and Ancient Gear Golem. Since I have drafted most of the types in the Legend archetype, I will also be taking them, including Grand Legend Saber, Grand Legend Priest, and Grand Legend Magician. And finally, I will be receiving Guardian of Order. Since Alex drafted Yuo, he will receive Imaginary Leading Actor, Metarian Medusa Star, Metarian Genius Star, Full Metarian Ashura Star, and Full Metarian Vritra Star. So this is the deck we're bringing to today's game. This is Legends. So Legend is obviously a mechanic in Rush, but we now have a Legend archetype. So we've had Legend Magician for a little while, and we also got our Legend Strike, and I guess that does extend to Legend Saber as well, but we now have more cards that are in this archetype, and some of them do have this nice little line of text on them saying this card is treated as a Legend card while in the hand or graveyard, which means we can have a lot more effects that do affect Legend cards. So Grand Legend Saber is our boss monster of the deck, 2500 attack. We can reveal a Legend Saber or a Legend card in our hand to our opponent. So again, in terms of actual cards that can be treated as legends, obviously we have these 3. We have the Legend Magicians, that goes up to 6. We then have the Legend Priest, which can be treated as a legend, so that's 9. We have the 2 copies of Saber, so that goes up to 11. We have 2 trap cards that are treated as a legend while in our hand, so that goes up to 13. And then we have our actual legends, so 14, 15, and 16. So there are 16 cards in our deck that we can reveal to get this card's effect off. But this turn, this card gains 500 attack and can make up to 2 attacks on monsters. So 3000 double attacker, really good, but it cannot attack directly with that second attack. So it's pretty good, but not completely busted. The next boss monster we're playing is the Grand Legend Magician. Reveal 1 Legend Magician or Legend card in your hand to your opponent to destroy a spell trap on the opponent's field. It's only got 2400 attack. His effect is a little bit situational, but he is treated as a legend while in the hand or graveyard, which does work out quite well for the rest of the deck. And popping back row is still good. And the ways we can pop back row in this deck are a little bit limited, so we did want to opt to play this card, and he's pretty strong. Then we're playing the 1 of Ryozai. This is freshly limit 1. This is still a level 7 deck. All of our boss monsters are 7, so we are on the ship of the 7 treasures, so it was a no-brainer to include this card as it does protect our monsters. For our legend monster of choice, Freed the Brave Wanderer. Freed is fine. His effect is okay. Having another normal summonable monster is okay. We don't really have many other good warriors to put in, and we kind of wanted a Legend Warrior just because Legend Saber does limit us to only attacking warriors and Celestial Warriors. We wanted to have more warriors in the deck. Freed is the only Legend Warrior we have other than the Millennium Shield. The rest of them are all Alex's, so there's that. We have the Shooter, who can bring back the Hunter, and Hunter can bring back the Shooter, which gets us some pretty good tribute bodies. One of them changes battle positions, and one of them messes with the opponent's graveyard. Pretty good. Priest is also reasonably good. It does mill 3 cards, which does ideally get us into some legend monsters into the graveyard that we can either put back in our hand or just have them trigger effects. And Priest does weaken your opponent's monsters as well. And then there's Scout, which is more filtering as well as tribute fodder. Scout was actually really good, and I'm really a big fan of this card. But one of the big MVPs of the deck has to be Legend Slash. We can send a legend card from our hand to the graveyard, destroy 1 card on the opponent's field. This can be monsters, this can be face up, face down, spell traps, anything. This is probably going to be either our get rid of the opponent's big danger card or pop back row, which is pretty good. And then if we have a warrior type legend monster in our graveyard, we can draw 1 card. And once again, the only warriors that are legends is going to be the Grand Legend Saber, and then specifically Freed, who is an actual legend monster. So it's not going to be live that we're going to get that draw all the time, but if we do, it's really good. Emblem is also really good. We can add a legend monster from our graveyard to our hand, which again goes to all of our bosses, which is really strong. And then Fate of the World is kind of the last card we're going to talk about. It's treated as a legend card on our hand or the graveyard. When your opponent draws a card during their turn, or when your opponent normal or special summons a monster during their turn, we can shuffle a legend monster from our graveyard into the deck. This turn, up to 3 face-it monsters in your field gain 1200 attack and cannot be destroyed by card effects. This is pretty good. It's kind of like Sunset, but maybe a little bit better or worse, depending how you think about it. But it's pretty cool. So this is the deck. We have some options inside it to go into, depending on what Alex does bring. We do expect him to be a Matarion, but we're not going full anti-Matarion. And we also didn't want to play Ancient Gears this week because then Alex has to work extra hard to get all of his extra effects as Batarians off. Here, we do have Warriors for him to mess with. We do have Spellcaster for him to mess with. Unfortunately, he's not going to get anything off of our Fairies, but, you know, that is what it is. But let's fire into the game and see what Alex has got for us. So last time we did Heroes versus Cyber Dragons, we got a little bit of a GX show match. And it's been a little while since we've actually played. It's been a few weeks because things got a bit hectic with the new world release in Go Rush on Duel Links. So we had to take just a couple of weeks off. But we are now back with the new release of our brand new box. The Neo Legend Awakening pack, I believe it's called.
Yes.
And we are going to be showcasing... Well, I'm going to assume you're going to be bringing a new deck. I'm definitely bringing a new deck. So there aren't actually that many even new cards in here, and especially there aren't that many new decks, right? In terms of brand new decks, like an entire deck, there's going to be what, like Legend, because there are some Legend cards, but those don't really count. This is like an archetype called Legend that treats their cards as Legends. Then there's Matarion, which again is, it's got enough cards that it is kind of a new deck. Like realistically, you will probably be playing some of the old Matarion cards, but for the most part, there's going to be a big chunk of new cards in the same way that we saw a lot of older archetypes kind of get new life breathed into them without just getting like one new card, for example. And then the other is Ancient Gears, which I don't know, out of the 3, Ancient Gears looks the least interesting, which to me is really disappointing because I've always been a massive Ancient Gear fanboy. I've always been a big Crowler fanboy. I really, really like the aesthetic of the Ancient Gears, but they do look a little bit underpowered. I would say Matarion look the strongest on paper. Obviously, I haven't actually played against them or with them, so I can't actually say they are going to be. Legend seems like they're fine. It's kind of just like good stuff pile. Like none of the cards do anything like super exceptional. They're just like, oh, this one pops back row. This one floats. This one can sacrifice itself to pop something. This one can attack twice if you've got the right hand set up. Like the cards are fine. They're not bad. But they don't do anything like super flashy. It's not going to be like this ridiculous combo deck. It's just kind of good cards, right? Ancient Gear, on like the flip side, doesn't feel like it has a lot of very interesting tools. It can make a bunch of big guys and then kind of hope that that is just enough to win. It doesn't really have a lot of ways to get through set 3. Like there's Ancient Gear Golem, which is fantastic, right? I don't understand Ancient Gear Golem. But we only get one because it's a legend. So if you don't find it, the rest of your bosses aren't anything particularly special, at least in my opinion. Is there anything that stuck out to you as being like particularly interesting in this set, or?
Grand Legend? And seeing what actual legend monsters people bring with it will be interesting.
Yeah, there is that.
I couldn't work out which one you were supposed to use.
Yeah, we'll probably wait until smarter people work that out rather than actually us, to be honest. I mean, speaking of the other legends, we did get Mobius and Giant Trunade. Interesting, both obviously anti-back row. I've seen a lot of buzz about Giant Trunade. I don't see it. So in the TCG, Giant Trunade got additional value because you could re-access your own spell cards. So you could activate a continuous spell or a field spell, for example, that had a soft once per turn. Use the effect, put it back in your hand, play it again and use it again. We don't really have much that we can do with that in Rush. So we're basically just going to use it as Heavy Storm, but we put the cards back in the hand, which can brick your opponent, right? If you put 3 cards back in your opponent's hand and then they have to just reset them all again next turn, they're drawing less cards. That could be really devastating for them. For you, I guess it's like I can get rid of all my opponent's back row without having to sacrifice my own back row. So like there is some value there as well. But I don't see it's going to be a huge difference to Heavy Storm.
Yeah, it's an interesting card to bring.
And then there's Mobius. Mobius is cool, but like, are you ever going to bring Mobius over Ryza? Like, they're both great, but I just feel like Ryza's more versatile, so I would almost always rather have that unless I was like restricted for some whatever reason. But with that said, I'd say you want to do predictions, but it's basically just going to be kind of a 50-50 for you, and I'm just going to say Batarian. So, I mean, do you want to just hop in?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's jump on in. And let's go with this. All right, so you are winning the RPS. At least it's not a coin flip in this. That's one thing I really do prefer about EDO compared to Duel Links. So, Imaginary Arc Talents. Excavate the top 4 cards of your deck. You can send 1 Excavated Light Attribute Normal Monster with 500 defense or 1 Excavated Fusion to the graveyard. Place remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Then if you sent a card to the graveyard with this effect, you can draw 1 card. I like the idea that like you're going to whiff this. I feel like it's so unlikely that you would whiff it.
Yeah, you never know. That normal.
So we have Leading Actor. Send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. This card's name becomes Imaginary Actor this turn. Then you can add a Light Attribute Normal Monster with 500 defense or Fusion. So we already know you have Fusion. If we take a pick at your graveyard, you do now have 2 level, well not levels, Light Attribute Normal Monsters. So, oh, it's Andor. Okay, so you get a plus off that. So you -1, basically. Well, you -2 to get this guy out, right? Because you give up the 2 bodies. Then you +2 when he does come out. So you've broken even. You now have a 2,500 bodies. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Even if we don't fuse with it.
Yeah, I think I will.
Ooh, we're going into Vitristar. Okay, so we now have our Duel Link Superstar, Vitristar. It's Vitristar Pass? Okay. I mean, it's a 28 guy. My hand is not, like, crazy. We will activate Legend Slash, so I can send a Legend card from my hand to the graveyard to destroy 1 card on your opponent's field. Then if you have a Warrior-type Legend monster in your graveyard, I can draw a card. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a Warrior-type Legend. I do have a Fairy Legend, because this card is treated as a Fairy while in my hand or in the graveyard. But I can deal with your guy. The unfortunate part is that cost me 2 cards to get rid of your guy, and the rest of my hand is not, it's not great. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to summon out Legend Shooter, who can reveal a Legend card from my hand to my opponent to change the battle position of the 2 monsters in my opponent's field. Then if this card is in attack position, I can summon a Legend Hunter from my graveyard, which I don't have. So I'm then going to set a monster, set a back row, go to battle, and we're just going to try and get it for 12. I mean, I say try, like there's a Karibo in this format. We'll pass on that. So you had 2 cards stuck in hands. That's got to be 2 high levels. What high levels have you been playing? Is it just double, like, the same boss you already played? My guess would be maybe. Ooh, we did whiff. Oh, so you don't get anything from that now. You don't get the mill, and you don't get the draw. Ooh.
Let's go with...
I would almost rather this card said, if you didn't send a card to the graveyard, draw a card. Oh, but then everyone would play it in every single deck.
Exactly. Let's go with...
It's Riser. We were just talking about him. No, don't do that. I need that.
Stop.
Well,
we'll get it back next turn.
Yeah, it's coming back. Alright, so one of the cards in your hand was the Riser then. So that last card in your hand is probably...
Imaginary Leading Actor.
Leading Actor. I keep wanting to say Reactor, and I'm like, no, it's not Reactor. I know it's not Reactor. So we're going to start with this. I'll activate the card that you put back to the top of my deck. Ship of the 7 Treasures. I'm going to send Grand Legend Magician to the graveyard and draw 2 cards. We will activate Legend Emblem. So with this card, I can, if I have 10 or more cards in my deck and 2 or more light attribute monster 300 defense in my graveyard, I can add a legend monster from my graveyard to my hand. So I'm going to add back the Grand Legend Magician. Then I'm going to flip summon my Legend Scout. So if I have 10 or more cards in my deck, I can reveal a Legend card in my hand to my opponent, draw 1 card, send 1 card from my hand to the graveyard, and then this turn this card will be treated as 2 tributes to the tribute summon of a Legend monster. We'll activate Legend Scout. I will reveal the Magician I just put back in my hand. So now I get a draw. Now I have to discard a card. So I will be sending my Legend Saber to the bin. I will normal summon out Legend Hunter. So I can reveal a Legend card in my hand to my opponent, and then shuffle up to 2 monsters from my opponent's graveyard into the deck. Then this card, if this card is in attack position, I can special summon a Legend Shooter from my graveyard. So I'm going to activate Legend Hunter's effect. I'll reveal the card that once again you already know. Now I get to mess with your graveyard a smidge. I don't actually know what I want back in your deck, if I'm perfectly honest. I'm probably just going to throw 2 normals, but in a way that's going to help you anyway. But I can now bring back my Legend Shooter. He comes out in defense, but I can activate his effect. And I can reveal to you this Grand Legend Magician. And then I can change this to defense mode. Now, I will go ahead and... Great. It's like, I'm trying to summon it using Legend Scout's effect, and EDO is like, do you want to normal summon, or do you want to question mark, question mark, question mark? I'm like, okay, question mark, question mark, question mark it was. Now I can activate Legend Magician's effect, reveal a Legend Magician or a Legend card in my hand. I just happen to have a Legend Magician. And then I can just pop a back row. So we will be popping this. It was just the fusion, which we did already kind of know about. Then I'm going to set, which means you have perfect knowledge of what's in my hand. We will then go to battle phase. I can clear with the hunter, and then we can get in for 24. And that's going to be me done. Star of the Beginning. Pay 500 life points, send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, then you can add a level 5 or lower normal monster, fusion, or polymerization from your graveyard to your hand. Ooh, so you have support. I suppose that's not... Now, this is kind of support for your deck anyway, but it's just like this supports poly, but you also have reactor that supports reincarnation.
Grab actor.
Okay, okay. Maybe I should have shuffled both the actors back. Ooh, this card got stacked to the bottom, so we must have shuffled at some point. That was part of the reason as well that I went for this deck, because if I just played Ancient Gears, I feel like your deck might not get to do its tricks. And I was like, oh, I don't want to just like, I don't want to hard counter you immediately, you know what I mean?
I just slide in type change beam.
Yeah, but then you need to draw into it at the right time, and...
Let's go with Blood Dancer.
Oh no. Okay,
Area Fusion.
So this is Fusion. Summon a Cyborg type monster by sending monsters from your hand and or field to the graveyard. Then you can add a Fusion or one monster sent to your graveyard by this effect to your hand. So we're going to make the boy Ashura Star. Then presumably we're going to use Ashura Star's effect and pop a back row. And then we're going to fuse it off. Oh, and then because full Metarian Ashura Star also gets to bring back Ashura Star, right? So you can pop both my back row. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, we're not doing that. Okay.
Fortunately not.
Okay.
Oh, there goes another Terry Fusion.
You hit my Ship of the Seven Treasures. I feel like you were like one card off of doing like really cool shit there. Right, well there goes Magician. Alright, we're gonna play it safe. And if we get punished for playing safe, then so be it. So I'm gonna start by activating my Legend / Spell card. So I can send a Legend card from my hand to the graveyard, destroy one card in my opponent's field. Then if I have a Warrior type Legend monster in my graveyard, I can draw a card. So I'm going to send this Warrior that's treated as a Legend. We're going to put one in the back row. I'm going to draw a card. It's not really the draw we were hoping for, but it's not inherently bad. Activate my Legend Hunter's effect. So I can reveal to you that I have this Grand Legend Saber in my hand. And then I can mess with your graveyard a little bit more. So I'm just going to put these back. I don't know, again, I don't know if that's like the correct play here or not, but we're just going to keep doing it and pretending like it's a good thing. Then I'm going to summon my Legend Magician. I'm going to activate Legend Magician's effect. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Well, there's only one monster there, so I guess I'll send that. Then I'm going to go ahead and tribute 2 of these monsters and summon out my Grand Legend Saber. And then I can change my Legend Shooter to attack position. Activate Legend Shooter. I will reveal to you that I have Fate of the World in my hand, which is a trap card that when your opponent draws a card during their turn, or when your opponent normal or special summons a monster for during their turn, I can shuffle a Legend monster from my graveyard into the deck. This turn, up to 3 monsters on my field gain 1200 attack and cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is pretty cool. So I changed this to defense, but the real reason we wanted to do this was so that I could bring back Hunter. Then I can activate Hunter's effect. Reveal this again. And then I can just keep messing with your graveyard. Again, I don't know like what the best way to mess with this graveyard is. But we're just going to do what we can. So I'm going to put these back. Now I can activate my Legend Emblem, which will let me take back my Grand Legend Magician. Then I'll tribute 2 and summon out the Grand Legend Magician. I can then activate Grand Legend Magician's effect, reveal my trap card, pop the back row, which was Imaginary Arc Turnover. When your opponent normal or special summons a monster, fusion summon a sideboard by shuffling monsters from your field and or graveyard into the owner's deck. Oh, so because I got rid of all your material, you couldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm seeing a downside with this deck.
Well, usually decks wouldn't have so much grave hate, but mine definitely does. I've also just realised I haven't done this yet. I should probably do this before I accidentally throw. So I'm going to reveal my other card on my hand, Legend Saber. Boost its attack up. Then I'll summon out the Legend Saber. I will set Mystery Trap card. Could be anything. And unfortunately, Saber can only attack monsters twice. So we are going to put you down to 200. Now, there might have been a way to game you there, but I don't know. I had to change your guy to defense mode. Yeah, I think this is fine. My trap card can be activated when you draw a card. So, just going to constantly nag me. This is fine. So you do get to Pot of Greed here. Go. So reveal light for your hand, send the top 2 cards to the graveyard, then you can put 500 damage to your opponent. I think I will do this now, because realistically, it's just going to keep asking me. So I figure we might as well just go for it. Pop this back in, and then I can give all 3 of my guys a boost, now they can't be killed by effects.
Mm-hmm.
We get the Serpainter. We reveal the Serpainter. Burn me for 500.
Down to Mathematical.
Okay. Okay. I'm assuming we're going to turn it into a Sword Dancer. Yeah. I see the issue. Has anything changed? Yes. Yes. If I hadn't activated Fate of the World, it would have been 1500 less damage. Which would have only been 5,000 damage that I would have taken. Okay, okay. So activating Fate of the World did end up mattering here.
GG.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, right, where in hindsight, yeah, it's obvious. I don't want to boost my guys. Usually, I think it wouldn't matter, but in this very specific situation, I would have had 1,500 less, because you absorb basically 3,000 attack. Oh, no, it was 1,200. So, no, it would have been 2,400 less.
Yeah.
So you would have been at, God, 66 over my 13, which would have been 53? Yeah, so I still would have been alive, I think, unless my maths is wrong. But anyway, let's see what happens in game 2. Alright, we will be going first this time. This hand is like, it's not awful, but at the same time, I would rather it looked a little bit better than this. I think I'm going to start with Legend Scout. Then I can activate the effect. And I can reveal to you that I have the Grand Legend Magician. Oh, that is like... That's like the worst draw possible. Alright, we're going to send Grand Legend Magician to the grave. Then I'm going to tribute it just to get out the saber. Just so that it's not in my hand.
Okay.
Then I'm going to set, and set. And then we'll just pass.
Go 1.
Okay. We have the actor. And the reactor. And the tribute. Okay, so this gives us access to anything. We might not have the fusion in hand, but we probably do since we normal summoned out the imaginary actor.
Water dancer.
Okay. So are we going to try and get greedy and get a big chunk in? Or are we going to pop something that's face down? That's the question.
Let's draw it back for...
I want that.
Serpainter.
Okay. Now we take the 3. And unfortunately you are going to have to play
1,400
this.
clear.
We're freed.
Oh, it's freed.
Everyone loves freed. Alright, I'm going to activate my Legend Emblem. And using its effect, I can add a Legend monster from my graveyard back to my hand. So I'm going to add Legend Saber. Then I'm going to activate Legend Emblem again. And I'm going to grab back Freed. We normal summon Legend Priest. And we activate its effect. And I can reduce the attack of one of your guys. Then we'll summon out Legend Hunter. Activate Hunter's effect. I will reveal to you that I have this this Grand Legend Saber that you didn't know I had. So now I can just start messing with your graveyard again. Sure, put those back. Then I'll bring out my Shooter. Now Shooter could let me change your guys to defense, but I don't really see a need to. So I will go ahead and tribute 1, 2. And summon out my Legend Saber. Then we can activate Legend Saber's effect, and I will just reveal to you that I have this lovely Freed in my hand. Then I can summon out the Freed. Alright, we're going to go to battle. And I am going to start off by attacking this Ashura Star. Then I will attack over this Serpainter.
Bricked up a monster, huh?
I'll get him with, yeah, just a little bit. It's a very awkward hand that could very easily be rectified, but also just has not done so. Yeah, the biggest downside is that my board has got a lot of warriors on it, which is kind of spooky.
Yeah, if I could do something with that, that'd be great.
Well, I basically needed you to have nothing, so this, this suits me quite well. So bam, 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 bam. I think this is just going to be lethal. I can activate Grand Legend Saber. Reveal that I have this Grand Legend Magician. Then I can activate Legend Slash. Send the Magician.
My card's so good.
Yeah, it is really, really strong.
What the shit?
Let me get to attack over, and then we get in for the rest of your LP. We both kind of had a lack of spell traps here, I feel. My hand is also just 3 more monsters, by the way, so...
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens in game 3.
Go first.
Okay.
You will set, and
Okay, the old triple set. So this is the issue is, I know your deck can output just a ton of damage, so I don't really want to go aggressive. On the other hand, I want to try and deny you resources, so you can't do whatever you want. So I am going to go a little bit aggressive. We're going to summon a Legend Magician. We can activate Legend Magician's effect. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we will be sending our Legend Priest. Not the best card to get in the graveyard, but there are also worse ones. We'll summon out another Legend Magician. We'll activate its effect. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they're a little bit better. We do want to see Shooter and Hunter in the graveyard because they can get summoned off of each other. I guess we'll put Hunter in the graveyard. Then we're going to set. Go to battle. We will try and clear some of this off. A lot of your guys should just have 500 defense. And then we'll just pass.
Arc Talents.
Okay. We've already seen a vanilla.
Sure. Doesn't have what did they go? Draw. Okay. It was an evil baller.
Okay, so this is
Wait,
the
no, I
fiend
didn't want to
one.
do that. No!
No, you will make me a fiend and you will like it.
Fine, alright. One of your monsters is now a machine.
Oh, does it turn me into what you reveal? Oh, I just
reveal or fiend.
That's cool though. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really read through these cards too much, but I just assumed that just turned them into fiends.
Get over the painter.
Okay.
Reveal Miracle Star.
Okay, so I shouldn't have
no,
access to an actor.
Not Magic Reactor. I've got to... There we go, Magic Juggler.
Atari Infusion comes down.
Boop. Boop.
Okay, so we can only spin one of my guys now, unless you want to mess with my graveyard. Oh, we're doing something.
We'll send Atari Infusion. bottom.
Okay, so we do spin. Go with the extra 11.
That. Summon.
Okay, so it's just a 1800 guy. Although this effect is still live. It's not only the turn it's summoned. We take a big chunk. Okay, what are we going to draw here for turn? Okay, the cards are unfortunately not really what I was hoping for. I'm so close to having plays, but I've like drawn the exact combination that gets me nothing. All right, we have to do this. So we're going to activate Ship of the Seven Treasures, and no matter what, it's like if I do that one and I high roll, technically I guess it's a bit of a high roll, then there's like a line that's a lot stronger. But it's like, how lucky are we feeling, I guess? And if I'm honest, I'm not feeling super lucky. So I think we are going to go with the option that is more likely to get us into a more favorable position. As much as this hurts, I'm going to be sending Ryozai to the graveyard. Oh, we high rolled as well. Oh, God. Oh, I didn't have to do that. Okay. Because the issue is, yeah, putting Ship of the Seven in the graveyard turned Ryozai on. But I had no, like, I would summon it out in defense, and then I would just, like, you know, you would just beat over me and kill me with Oracle Star and everything else. So I needed to draw into a legend card, which, you know, it's not unlikely, but it's not likely, right? There are still more non-legend cards in the deck than there are legends. Unfortunately, we did immediately draw a legend off the top, which meant we ended up doing the wrong play, the less efficient play, I suppose. So I'll flip over Legend Strike. So, okay, we'll go Priest. Priest in defense. We'll activate Priest. 1, 2, 3, and we can make one of your guys get reduced. So I will reduce Baller. I will normal summon my Legend Hunter. Activate his effect. I reveal that I have this Saber in my hand. And then I'm going to put these two back in your deck. Bring back Shooter. Alright, we will Tribute 2 and summon out Grand Legend Saber. I can then activate its effect by revealing this Grand Legend Magician. Gain 500 attack. So as is, I can clear your whole board and get in for some damage. It's not like a great deal of damage, but it's damage. Damage is damage. Activate Legend Slash. I'll send this back to the bin, and I can pop this guy. I mean, he was always dying anyway. It's just that's now representing more damage that you're taking. How much damage have I got on board? I got 6,072 minus 26, which means I'm nowhere near lethal no matter how I play this. I think we set, go to battle, just swing over both. And then we get in for the extra 12. And then we just pass. I think that's the best we got. Okay. We be balling. We're going to be changing the types. Wait a minute. You're telegraphing something here. Well, let's see if my back row can save me from this or not, I guess.
Reactor.
He's reacting.
Sword dancer.
Mm-hmm. You go, Shokan. Okay, I think we have to do this. So we're going to Shiny Shady. And just hope this is enough. Is there a world in which I flip my own guy face down? Just in case you have follow-up? Don't think so. Okay. Oh man, if you, I don't really know what your cards like extend do, like beyond what I've seen. So I was like, if you just have like a 1 card like Miracle Fusion and just summon one again, I was just cooked. All right, we will activate Legend Hunter. I'll reveal that I have another Grand Legend Saber. I don't really. Yeah, we'll put this back. Then I can bring back Shooter. And then I can use Shooter. And just reveal to you the same one again. I can change both of these to attack mode, which hopefully should give me what I need. Tribute 2, summon this. Activate this. Reveal this. Activate this. Reveal this again. Normal summon.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Oh. Yeah, that was some weird ones. I feel like in that last game, you were once again in a situation where you didn't actually see much back row. You just got a load of monsters.
Which is weird, because I'm running like 16 buff.
Yeah, I mean, it's Rush, right? Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes you'll play like 4 boss monsters, and then they'll just all show up in your hand, and that's just how the game goes. Unfortunately, it sucks, but what can we do about it, right? All we can do is mitigate it, and when bad luck falls at our feet, we just have to roll with the punches. I guess we'll talk about your deck first. It's really cool. It's a shame we didn't get to see any of the full Metarians, but even so, we got to see some of your like very impressive stuff, right? I mean, you managed to OTK me with a 9,000 attack Ashura Star, which, you know, on one hand is like, oh, that doesn't happen very often. On the other hand, it's like, man, in Duel Links, that happens constantly.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, yeah, it's cool doing that. I really like Evil Baller. I think Evil Baller is ideal for what this deck needs, because you don't really want to have a bunch of vanillas. So like, I feel like the deck is kind of torn between, do I want to be a vanilla spammy deck, and I have a bunch of cards that work with just vanillas? And then, do I want more modern cards that actually fulfill the role that they should be having? So like Evil Baller being able to change monsters' types is really, really useful, because obviously it works with all the Metarian stuff that you want to be doing. Talents is great if it doesn't whiff. Like, that's just fantastic if it doesn't whiff. We got to see the leading actor do really, really well. Unfortunately, we only got to see it once, but when it did come out, like, again, just a 2,500 body that's basically free and sets up a combo play for the next turn is really, really, really good, or even on the same turn, depending exactly how you want to play it. Metarian Fusion, another really good card. There's a lot of, like, really powerful stuff in your deck. I think the problem is you just didn't have enough to, like, make it all come together. And I guess the other thing is I didn't really see much back row hate in your deck. Now, obviously, it's really difficult with Metarian to, like, have a dedicated one, right? Because you have so many different types. It would have been nice, I think, if they put a Metarian-specific back row hate. In the same way, you know, like Legend Strike is a legend back row hate, quote-unquote.
Yeah.
I think it would have been cool to see, like, a Metarian back row hate. Because Ashura Star does do that, but you also kind of want to use Ashura Star to pop off, and Ashura Star will get stopped by things that happen on summon, which is what we did. I was like, you're gonna Ashura Star OTK me. I need things that I can activate on summon. So that's why we got, like, the Shadies in, for example. We ended up taking out our other Legend Trap that actually helped you kill me. So I was like, probably just take that out. We don't need that anymore. But yeah, deck seems like super solid. And then there's my deck, which it turns out my deck is just kind of a graveyard hate the deck. That's what we seem to be doing the most here. Using the Legend Hunter to just get rid of the cards in your graveyard, which just seem to stifle you a little bit. Being able to use it to get out the extra bodies in Shooter. This deck was quite competent at being able to summon out multiple bosses in a single turn, and that actually seems to me to be like the most interesting part of it. I think the MVP is probably Legend Slash. Like, Legend Slash is so good. Now, again, it is a little bit restrictive, but like, it's like, how restrictive is it really, right? You have to send a Legend card from your hand to the graveyard, which sometimes is the easiest thing in the world, right? So many cards in this deck are just either Legends or have, like, this card is treated as a Legend while in your hand, text written on it. So, should be quite easy. There was a couple of times, though, where we were like, I have 2 Legend Slash and no Legends to discard. What do I do with this card? And then, obviously, if you guarantee you're going to get that draw, it's also fantastic. But there aren't actually that many Legend Warriors in here. Only Saber and Freed are the only, like, cards that actually meet this criteria. Because all the other cards that say they can be treated as a legend while in your hand or graveyard are spellcasters and fairies. So there aren't a ton of ways to get that draw off with Legend Slash, but if you do, it is absolutely insane. Magician is cool. Being able to just pop a back row is cool, but I feel like there's a lot of cards that do that, but are better. Like a 2400 body that you have to have a specific card in your hand to reveal to get that spell trap pop. It's like, it's still fine, but it's like, you know, Magnets do that with their fusion monster a lot easier. Heroes do that with their fusion monster a lot easier. There's a lot of other archetypes, I think, that just have a back row pop that's just better than Grand Legend Magician. And then there's Saber herself, who I feel like she's kind of balanced, I feel, right? Again, she has to reveal a Legend Saber or a Legend card in hand. She gains the 500, which is nice, but she only goes up to 3k. 3k is still a decent number, not going to pretend it's not. But it can only make 2 attacks on monsters. Again, they've understood from Dragius that letting these big monsters just hit twice directly is really good. I mean, just look at Volt Eagle, right? It's just a guy that can special summon itself and then attack twice with 2500. Turns out that's pretty good. Yeah, all in all, I think the Legend deck was fine. Was it particularly fun? It was alright. There was nothing like I said, there's nothing flashy about this deck, right? The flashiest thing I did was go, Legend Saber, attack twice, yeah. And I was like, that was neat. But, like, was it super fun? It was fine. It was fine. But, yeah, thanks for the games, buddy. And GG.
GG.